You know, some of these I look at like when you hear recording in progress, I hear it. The people don't hear it, but I hear it, and then I look at how tired I look, and I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be one of those ones where we both are just
No,
it's fine, it's great.
yeah, I feel the same way. I was just, I was just brushing my teeth before I turned this on, and I was like, okay, yeah, can really, really see how last night went now.
Yeah. Well, you know, there is a thing we can do that makes it a little easier though.
Mhm.
And I just turned my phone off because I'm a fool because my mom just texted me in the middle of the podcast just to send me a riddle. I'm turning it on. So,
Well,
why
well,
did
first,
I'm sorry?
well, first, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to tell you a riddle. Do you got a riddle?
Oh well, you want to start the?
No, because I'm trying to
Oh,
start my
okay.
timer and
Oh,
it's
okay.
it's
All right.
it's it's thinking about it.
Okay. All right. So let's back
The
up then.
endless
All right.
fear of turning your phone on.
Tell me a riddle.
Okay, you ready for a riddle?
Yeah.
Okay, so are you okay? Here we go. Hi, Andrew.
Hi, Brandon.
Start that timer. Okay, boom, got him. Tricked him.
Okay.
Tricked him.
We're so organized on this podcast here.
Could have killed him at
We
any
need
moment.
yeah, we need a producer to to
Well,
organize the timing and everything
once
like
we
that.
miss
So
another one, this really I like to think that
mhm.
start was really one of our better starts because our main audience, people who are sleeping and waiting for the next Bob Ross video to show up,
That's right.
really got to enjoy a lot of like kind of awkward quiet, and I bet it was a real nice rest for
Yeah,
them.
so this one will probably get a lot of views because of that.
Yeah,
So
this is a big this is actually a secret ASMR podcast. Uh,
it is. Yeah.
we've had a lot of shifts through the years, I
Mhm.
guess at this point through the almost 2 years at this point. We've had a
Yeah,
lot of shifts, and one of those shifts is it's ASMR now, guys.
it is. Yeah. It started off as Bitcoin and now it's ASMR.
Yeah,
And
it started off with NFTs and a sincere, hopeful look at NFTs, and then that whole market kind of imploded. Um,
exactly.
and then we like walked away from that real quiet like so we're both tired. We both had show experiences last night.
Yeah.
um
And give me a second. Don't tell the joke right now, but give me one
uh,
second. All right.
this is me to Phil. This is sometimes you do podcasts and they're just real, you both of y'all are just real exhausted, and that is hard, and you have to remember that to work in our, we've covered this in a lot of different ways, you are going to work exhausted sometimes, and I think it's easy to get caught up in the excitement of the excitement of the performance and the night and how cool it is, but I think you really do have to try to think about like you got to wake up the next morning, you got to practice still, and while you're out, you know, waking up next morning and practicing still, you gotta think about that the night before. You know, the one of the things you gotta remember is like you go out, you're making friends, you're feeling good, and you don't want to. It's important that you don't spend all your money at the bar, all your money at the restaurant, all your money at the whatever the thing is, all the money at the merch stand. And it's so easy to get caught up in that vibe that you're not, you know, you're out there being fun, fast, and loose, but really you're kind of screwing yourself up. So it's important to like stay focused with that. I think that's one of the more um, easy traps to fall into. Yeah,
Was that even more ASMR stuff?
yeah. I did the talk. Basically, I was talking about how like it's important to both of us are exhausted and
Yeah.
like we have to, which is fine, sorta. But also, it's one of those things you gotta be kind of aware of when you're out performing that like you do got to wake up the next morning and you got to do the show again and you got to practice your scales and you got to do all that. And it's so easy to like live in that moment and spend all your money on the beer, the merch table, the food,
Mhm.
the movie, the whatever. And you have to continue to keep going. So you have to sort of separate yourself from the immersion of what it means to be a performer that night and realize that like yeah, you may be hot stuff tonight, but you still got to wake up tomorrow and you got to take the dog out and pick up the newspaper and all those cheers, they sound like ringing the next morning.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
stay focused. You know what I mean? Like you're running a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah, it is weird how that yeah, and actually like oh, and just mention the dog. That's actually what I had to do. I had to let the dog out.
Mm-hmm.
And while I was letting the dog out, the cat also got out and I had to chase the cat for a few seconds. So but it is weird how like the it's it is the dichotomy of like how you feel
Yeah.
during that performance, or it doesn't have to be a performance, I guess, just during the moment of while you're drinking or while you're hanging out with friends or whatever, it's like um just that dichotomy of like how good you feel and like how alive you feel, and then the next morning oftentimes it's completely different, and
Yeah. And while performing, well, it's kind of a dangerous thing. One of the
Mhm.
dangerous things is while performing, you can say that this is, well, I do. You make, you spend $15 and you make 20, or if you
Mhm.
screw up, you spend $15 and you make 14, and then you
Yeah,
say, well, this is my job. And then like you've justified it to yourself. And that's a whole can of worms you got to open eventually.
yeah.
At some point, I don't know if you noticed this, Andrew. We do seem to live in a capitalist society, so you got to keep making money. Like you can't pull deficit over and over and over again.
Yeah.
You can't keep doing it if you pull deficit.
Well, and that's always like I think the challenge of performers, because like there's a certain amount of stuff that you do have to do where there's a deficit, and it's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, what is the line though? And I guess the line's going to be different for everybody, because some people have trust funds, that they
Yeah.
can that they can work from. And
I mean,
but
that's
then
that's why coming from money in art is such. And I'm not really. I mean, I don't know about y'all,
yeah,
but I'm not particularly coming from. But coming from it
yeah,
is such a uptick, is because you're going to be working from a deficit for a while,
yeah,
and to be able to eat that deficit is a luxury that not everybody gets, and you have to figure
yeah,
out what deficit you can work at.
yeah. And I think that what I think for most people, and this is the case for me, and I get the sense for you, like most of us have a day job that
Mm-hmm.
can help support when those deficits do occur, then they can help support that. But even then, like even with a day job, or even if you're lucky enough to have a trust fund or whatever, it's like there's there's still a decision that has to be made at some point of like, okay, where is that line, when is it too much?
Yeah, and also like that deficit, we're thinking of money, but it's not just money. It's also
Yeah.
like I'm not saying you can't make friends in art, and I'm not saying we're not friends, but I am saying that like it is easy to have only people in your life that are transactional,
Mhm.
and that it's easy to go, well, you have this skill and I have this skill, and we take our peanut butter and we take our chocolate, isn't that lovely? But like it's also one of those things like it's hard because you're always sort of working. You know what I mean? You're
Mhm.
always with people
Yeah.
that you're working with, and you have to decide that you like that. Your
Yeah.
ability to go have beers can get cut out at any time because you got to go work, and that's
Right.
you got to go do the job. So the riddle is real quick.
Mhm.
Let's see if we got this from my mom. The riddle is why did Frankenstein's monster wear a black suit?
Why did Frankenstein's monster wear a black suit?
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
he,
Yeah,
uh,
keep
hold on.
sleeping, guys. Just keep sleeping. You're doing such a good job being asleep.
Yeah, there
Uh,
haven't
it's
these.
because
Okay.
no, you go. You have a
I
guess?
was, yeah. How long do we want to drag out the answer? I guess is the
I'll
question.
just tell you. It's because his red suit was at the dryers. I don't know why
Okay.
Frankenstein goes to a dry cleaner. There's a lot in this world that you
Yeah.
really have to accept for this riddle to work. Uh, it's not. It's bare. It's almost a non sequitur.
Yeah, I'm
Uh,
not. Yeah, I mean,
uh-huh.
I,
Yeah.
that is, no offense to your mother or anything like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Well, no. It's not a good
I
riddle.
I'm not saying it's not a good riddle because everyone's got their own taste. That's not the kind of riddle that I like.
That's
So,
such a that's this is now a riddle podcast.
yeah, exactly.
So what is synthetic coffee break? Answer: a riddle podcast. You know what? We're making that. We're making that one. We're posting it at least once.
That's our tagline.
Question: Q. What is synthetic coffee break?
Yeah.
Answer: a riddle podcast.
Yeah. Well, because it's kind of like you know, why did the chicken cross the road to get to the other side? It's like not there. I think that, but maybe that's why it's a riddle. Maybe that's why it's a good riddle because it's like, I was looking for some sort of pun answer
Yeah.
and I didn't get the pun answer. So
I mean, I think that's like riddles are mostly puns, right?
yeah.
That's the whole thing about a riddle is how good are you at puns? Even like
Mhm.
Oedipus, like, before the work upsetting part, he got his power because he was good at puns. It really is in the end. Like, what walks on two legs and then four legs and then three legs and then two
Sure.
legs and then four legs?
Mhm.
It is man.
Yeah.
And like, dude, you nailed it. You're so good at puns. You're the pun master, buddy. Like, that's how you really got power in the olden days. Is whoever was the punniest could
Yeah.
really own that power. But here's what you should do. This is what I do. I bought my mom a riddle book, and I go,
Mhm.
you send me a riddle every day. Then she sends me a riddle, and that's like, instead of being like, hey, I'm just checking in every day, I just look down and there's a new riddle that I have to try to work on.
Yeah.
And you just wake up and you're just like, okay, cool. Mom sent a riddle. Everyone's doing okay.
So does she sends you the question
Yeah, she said, yeah,
and then you have to figure the answer? Or
then you
you
try to
just have a
figure out.
little back and forth. Yeah.
Yeah, you just have a little back and forth.
Okay.
And that's what I honestly,
Yeah.
it's one of those things. I'm going to make an argument that I think the existence of a riddle
Uh-huh.
is this is a riddle pod. What is synthetic coffee break? Answer: a riddle podcast. The existence of a riddle is just a conversation starter.
Yeah.
Like, it's the only reason a riddle exists is just to do the grand job of wasting a couple minutes
Mhm.
on to go, what was this? I said he found his suit electrifying. That was my guess. And
Mhm.
you find if you do a riddle a day, you start really getting into the pattern of a riddle, and it's not,
Yeah.
you don't need to give the answer that's right necessarily, because
Yeah.
like, it's a riddle. You're never gonna you're not gonna own a kingdom because of a riddle. Those days are done. I don't even think, I could be wrong, but I don't even think there is like a bridge that you could go over right now that you could pay with for a riddle. I don't even think those existing. Like, there's no, if
Right.
if those exist, please tell me.
Yeah, because those are the good old days, like when you were traveling and then you had to when you got to a bridge and instead of paying a toll, you had to answer a riddle,
Yeah,
or else you were gonna get thrown off a cliff.
yeah,
So,
those were like really, yeah, just, or like there sometimes you would like go across a bridge and there would be like a troll under
right,
that,
exactly.
and you'd be like, oh, let me go talk to this troll real quick, make sure everything's cool. And this troll's like, I have a riddle. And you're like, okay, what do you got, buddy? And you're like, okay, is it man? Is it fish? Because it's one of those two.
Right.
They're like, okay, now you can pass. But yeah, we really had a more riddle based economy back in the day. I
Back in the
don't.
day, yeah. Like
So we're currently in a capitalist society. If we want to figure out,
and puns have no commerce in this capitalist
yeah,
society.
that's really one of the big downsides of a capitalist society is we have to have a good money value to puns, and puns
And there
really are
just
priceless.
isn't one. Yeah.
Yeah,
But we could change that, because, I think what we can do to bring this all together, I think that what we can do is we can set up a token-based economy that is based on the value of your pun, so
that's good. I was
a crypto token based.
a
So,
crypto token based economy based on the power of puns. I was
exactly.
gonna do like because I guess NFTs are just trading cards, but you could do just riddle trading cards. Have
You could, yeah.
one be like 1-1, and the question is like, what is synthetic coffee break? And then you have to find 1-2, and it would say a riddle podcast.
Mhm.
And then like you would sell like packs of cards that had like half riddles on it, and then you could like mix and match and go, oh, I actually think this works better. We
Yeah.
just reinvented apples to apples, didn't we? It's just,
But but it's new because it's NFTs. So
Yeah, it's just
it's
you know
an
what? I'm actually surprised that and
yeah.
I could be wrong that boring trading card that boring
Yeah.
card game that people like. What is that? We're all terrible people. What is that one called?
Cards Against Humanity.
Cards Against Humanity. I was close.
Mhm.
I do not like that game. That game does not have a good end. That game has no ending, and you just play it, and just everyone pretends that they're being naughty. And I just have
Mhm.
no patience for a game where everyone pretends they're being naughty. I just don't like. It's okay if you like it, and if like I'm not gonna go if I'm at your
Mhm.
house and someone pulls out Cards Against Humanity, I will not go. Oh, I won't play that game. I'll play along, but I
Yeah.
want you to know that I'm secretly fuming and I'm so angry that I'm playing. I just
Mhm.
here's the problem with Cards Against Humanity. And if you have a deck at home, this is what I want you to do. This is one of the more unfocused ones. Open it up, deal a card, deal three cards that go,
Mhm.
and see how many of those cards fit the prompt. Too many of those cards are going to fit the prompt. And if it's that, then the game can just play itself, and we should just be trading riddle cards. Like it's just I'm sorry. I love that you love it, but it's just I for me I find it deeply infuriating, and
Yeah.
it's pretend naughtiness, and I just have no patience for it.
Well, and so with what you're describing actually is like, a card game kind of playing itself. And so now we've gotten to the realm of AI again. So this was also at one time an AI podcast.
Gotta stop it. Was it?
And
I'm okay, there. Go. Card game that plays itself. Go.
yeah. So I mean, this at one time was we also talked about AI, right? So we're talking about a card game that plays itself, and
It's
so this could also be an AI generated card game as well.
Yeah, it's an AI generated card. It's an entirely AI generated card game
Hmm.
that puts out riddles that are broken into two, and those riddles are NFTs.
Hmm.
And I
And then the tokens are doled out to I don't know, I don't know, depending on how you play it, and then you can redeem them for more cards, and so you
yeah
create this whole economy within it,
yeah
within itself.
that is only used to cross bridges.
Exactly.
Remember, don't spend all your money.
But the
Yeah,
problem is trolls have to have some iPhones. So
girls do have iPhones. A
okay.
lot they have Androids actually.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, cool.